The captain of a pirate crew is usually its strongest member, but the first mate is often nearly or equally strong. They have to be, otherwise, they can't effectively support their captain or their crew. The strongest captain/first mate duos in One Piece consist of two people who are nearly on par in strength, working together to achieve mutual goals. Number 1. Don Krieg rules the Krieg Pirates, a fleet of over 50 ships, by instilling terror in his underlings. That's part of why his first mate, Jin, is so loyal to him. He knows that if he disobeys, he'll meet an unpleasant fate. Jin is willing to obey any order, even those that harm him directly, like taking off a gas mask and breathing in poison. But he draws the line at hurting those who helped him, and at dragging on a fight past the point where they've clearly lost. Without Jin's sense of perspective and reality, Krieg would probably have lost a lot more than he already has. Number 2. Sometimes it takes being humbled to unlock your true strength. That's just what happened to Bellamy, whose power grew significantly after he lost to Luffy, and stopped trying to lead his own pirate crew. Still, even before that, his spring fruit allowed him to move at top speeds, evading hits from others and launching surprise attacks. Sure, it wasn't enough to beat Luffy, but very few people can accomplish that feat. His first mate Sarkis is an agile fighter who wields a gigantic knife. With a high bounty of 38 million berries, it's clear that he's dangerous, even if he was easily defeated by Blackbeard. Number 3. The Black Cat Pirates was reluctantly led by Captain Kuro, a man who tried to defraud a young rich girl out of her fortune so that he could get out of the pirating business and live in comfort. Mostly, he relies on strategy to carry him through, but he can fight when needed. He does so using the agility and stealth-based pussyfoot maneuver, as well as gloves with bladed claws that he uses to slice up opponents. His first mate, Django, is a strange man with an unusual ability. After eating a mushroom that was growing on his face, he gained the power to hypnotize anyone who looks at his pendulum. Unfortunately, he sometimes ends up hypnotizing himself in the process. Number 4. Korobu and Caribou are a pair of brothers who racked up huge bounties by slaying marines, a task that Caribou believes fulfills God's wishes. Korobu usually fights with a Gatling gun or a shovel. He also uses the shovel to bury Caribou's victims. Caribou ate the swamp fruit, which not only lets him store a range of weapons, but also lets him trap his victims in the swamp and suffocate them. While his fruit is quite powerful, he lacks any haki abilities and isn't physically strong. Luckily for him, he has the physically powerful and intensely loyal Korobu as backup. Number 5. Though he's brutally cruel to the people he extorts, Arlong is good to his fishman crew, which means that they'll happily fight on his behalf. One of his strongest allies is Hatchin, an easily confused fishman with octopus-like features who do anything from spray ink at opponents to best them at swordplay. But Arlong is fully capable of taking on foes himself. He can use his saw-like nose as a sword, pull out his teeth, and launch them at people, and then immediately grow a new set. And cut a building in half with his Kiribaki. His raw power is why his arc was so intense. Number 6. Both his aesthetics and attitude can make Buggy seem like a joke, but you shouldn't underestimate him. He has great endurance, which he displays by surviving lightning bolts, extreme temperatures, and major hits. He's also strong enough to lift and throw people who are much larger than him with just one detached body part. That brings us to his other ability, the chop fruit, which lets him divide his body into sections and control them individually. His first mate Moji is a beast tamer who fights by issuing orders to a lion named Richie, that and quickly darting around with a whip. Number 7. Along with their grandfather Chinjeo, Boo, and Sai entered a contest at the Corrida Coliseum in the hopes of winning the Flare fruit. They fight using a martial art called Hashoken that lets them generate shock waves by vibrating their limbs. According to Sai, these vibrations are impossible to block. Whether that's true or not, their strength is undeniable. Sai seems to be the stronger of the two. He can use two kinds of haki while Boo can only use one, and he was able to stand up the Funk brothers when Boo couldn't. Number 8. Once the leader of the crime syndicate Baroque Works, Crocodile, is a force to be reckoned with. After eating the sand fruit, he gained the ability to create, manipulate, and transform into sand. Not only is he able to bludgeon and trap foes with his sand, he can also dissolve into it, avoiding direct hits. One of the scariest things it can do is absorb all of the moisture from another living being, causing fatal dehydration. When he doesn't feel like activating his devil fruit, he can fight weapons like hooks and timer bombs. Nico Robin serves as his second-in-command under the name Miss All Sunday. She's both blisteringly smart and outlandishly strong. Her devil fruit, the flower fruit, allows her to sprout her body parts on surfaces. She can restrain opponents long distance, recreate eyes and ears for espionage, and even create a straight-up clone of herself. Number 9. Trafalgar Law is the Heart Pirates' captain and doctor. He uses two forms of haki, is an expert martial artist and swordsman, and is just overall not somebody you want to cross. But his most unique ability is his op fruit, which lets him create rooms, in which he can fully control the placement of every object. This has a whole host of creative effects, ranging from dismembering people, and moving objects too heavy to lift to forcefully body-swapping other people at will. Bappo is the crew's navigator and the closest thing they have to a first mate. As a mink, Bappo is an expert at physical combat and martial arts. He was once able to fight for 12 hours straight. While he hasn't been seen doing so, we can guess that he probably has abilities common to all minks, like the Solong transformation and electro attacks. Do you agree with our lists or did we miss something? Write it down in the comment section. Also, don't forget to subscribe.